Have you ever caught yourself imagining a conversation that never actually happened? You're alone, walking, or lying in bed, and suddenly your mind creates a full scene. You're explaining something perfectly, winning an argument, or imagining a future where everything finally goes right. And the strange part is, none of it is real. But the emotions, they feel real. You feel anger, excitement, anxiety, even relief from something that never actually happened. So at some point, you've probably asked yourself, why do I keep doing this? Here's the truth. This is not random. And it's not just overthinking. It's your brain trying to solve something. Most people think they imagine fake scenarios because they're bored. That's wrong. People who do this a lot usually have a very active mind because your brain is constantly analyzing situations. You replay conversations, but this time you fix them. You say the right thing, the perfect response, the comeback you wish you had. And sometimes it's not about the past. It's about the future. You imagine success, recognition, moments where people finally respect you. But then your brain flips the script, and suddenly you're imagining everything going wrong, people judging you, misunderstanding you, rejecting you. And here's where it gets interesting. Your brain doesn't fully separate imagination from reality. That's why your heart rate changes. That's why your emotions react. That's why it feels real. Psychology calls this mental simulation. Your brain is constantly running simulations of possible situations. Before you act in real life, your brain practices it, quietly, in the background. That's why athletes visualize before performing. That's why speakers imagine their speech, because simulation helps performance. But here's the problem. For most people, this system doesn't switch off. It keeps running, even when it's not needed. And that's when imagination becomes a loop. Now here's something most people don't realize. People who imagine fake scenarios a lot usually have one thing in common. They think a lot about how others see them. Not because they want attention, but because their brain is constantly trying to understand social situations. So it creates imaginary conversations to process them. It's like your mind is always practicing, preparing, rehearsing. But slowly, this turns into something else. Because in your imagination, everything is under your control. You say the perfect words. People respond exactly how you want. Everything makes sense. But real life doesn't work like that. And that's where the trap begins. Because your brain starts preferring imagination over reality. Not because you're lazy, but because imagination is easier, predictable, safe, and real life is uncertain, messy, uncontrolled. So instead of acting, you keep imagining. Now, don't get this wrong. Imagination is not the problem. In fact, it's one of the most powerful tools your brain has. It helps you plan, solve problems, prepare for the future. The problem starts when imagination replaces action. Because no matter how many scenarios you run in your head, your life doesn't change there. Real growth only happens in real situations, real conversations, real risks. So if you imagine fake scenarios a lot, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means your brain is active, observant, trying to understand things deeply. But here's what you need to do. First, notice it. The moment you catch yourself imagining a scenario, pause. Ask yourself, am I preparing or escaping? Second, limit the loop. Let your brain simulate once, maybe twice, but don't let it repeat endlessly, because repetition turns thinking into overthinking. And third, take action. If it's a conversation, have it in real life. If it's a fear, face it. If it's a goal, start moving towards it. Because your brain will never feel ready. It'll just keep simulating. And if you don't interrupt it, you'll stay stuck in your head. So remember this. Your mind is powerful. It can create entire worlds, entire conversations, entire futures. But your life is not built in your imagination. It's built in reality. So the next time you catch yourself lost in a fake scenario, don't just stay there. Come back and act. Because the real moments, the real conversations, the real outcomes will always be outside your head. If you made it this far, comment reality and subscribe to Mindstick, because this is where your mind gets upgraded.